Okay, I wanted to picture this scene for me. You call your child for dinner, and what do you get? A grunt, right? In a minute, mom, that turns into 15 minutes. Or maybe they have a meltdown because they have to stop playing their video game. Does it sound familiar? So let me know in the comments right now. Type yes if you have been there. I know I have. Now, here's the thing. We often label this as misbehavior or laziness or addiction. But what if I tell you it is not about the behavior itself? What if I tell you it's actually an operating system issue? That's right. It is like your child is running on an old version of software that is just reactive. It waits for a command, a notification, a game, your instruction, and then it just reacts. But today, we are going to talk about how to flip a single switch in that operating system to rewire them from being reactive bots to becoming creative architects of their own lives. And I'm going to give you a simple 3-step process to start doing it today. We do this here every single week. So let's break down this reactive versus creative brain. The reactive brain is like a pinball machine. Something happens. Ding! The bell goes flying. A notification pops up. Ding! They check it. You say, no! Ding! They get upset. Their brain is just bouncing from one external stimulus to another. It is exhausting for you, and honestly, it is not much fun for them either. The creative brain is different. It is the brain of an architect. An architect doesn't just wait for something to happen. They have a vision. They draw up a plan. They gather materials. They create something that wasn't there before. A child in creative mode might be bored, but instead of complaining, they start building a fort out of cushions. They might see a problem like a sibling being sad and they draw them a picture to cheer them up. They are the source of the action, not just the responder. Now, which brain do you think is going to thrive in a world flooded with AI and distractions? The reactive pinball or the creative architect? Exactly. I want you to think about your child over the last week. Was there a moment you saw them in creative architect mode? Tag that moment in the comments, right? Architect, and tell me what they were doing. I love reading those stories. All right, so how do we flip the switch? Here's your 3-step parenting operating system update. I call it OS update. Step 1, become a mirror, not a manager. Most of us are stuck in manager mode. We manage their time, their behavior, their problems. Do this. Stop that. Here is the solution. This keep them in reactive mode. Instead, for 1 week, I want you to practice being a mirror. When your child has a big feeling or a problem, just reflect it back. Wow, I can see you are really frustrated that your tower fell down. It looks like you are not sure what to do next now that your game is over. That's it. No fixing, no advice, just reflection. This does something magical. It pauses the reactive loop and forces their own brain to come online to process the feeling. Try this for just 1 day and come back to tell me what shifted. I'm serious. I read every single one. Step 2. Introduce the blank space ritual. Creativity cannot exist in a packed schedule. We have to deliberately create boredom, what I call the blank space. Every day, I wanted to institute 30 minutes of no screens, no structured activities, nothing. It will be uncomfortable at first. They will complain for sure. But this emptiness is the very soil where the creative brain starts to seed. Out of boredom comes imagination. Let me know in the comments what is the biggest hurdle you think you'll face with a blank space. Step 3. Ask the or ask the architect question. This is the most powerful tool. When your child is facing a problem or is in that blank space, stop yourself from giving the answer quickly. Instead, ask, what's your plan? You're bored? What's your plan? Your friend took your toy? What's your plan? You have a big project due. What's your plan? This single question does two things. First, it implicitly tells them, I believe you are capable of figuring this out. Second, it forces the cognitive shift from someone solve this for me, reactive, to I'm the one who creates solutions, creative. Now, I can read your mind. You are thinking, well, what if their plan is terrible? My answer, let it be terrible. As long as it is safe. Let it fail. Failure is the data the creative brain needs to build a better plan next time. If you jump in and save them, you just yank them back into reactive mode. Let me tell you about a client I work with. She was at her wit's end with her 9-year-old son every day after school. It was the same story. Her son would drop his backpack, grab his tablet, and disappear into Fortnite for hours. When the mother would say, time's up, honey, it was like detonating a bomb. We are talking screaming, slamming doors, calling her the meanest mom in the world. The rest of the free time, he was a pinball of, I'm bored. He would wander around the house, moving from one screen to another, complaining there was nothing to do. The mother felt like a full-time manager and referee, constantly setting timers, negotiating, and dealing with the meltdown. She was exhausted, and she felt like she was watching her bright creative son turn into a passive, reactive zombie. She came to me and said, Angeline, I'm not even asking for a genius. I just want my happy, curious kid back. I want to stop fighting. Told her, I told the mother, we are not going to manage the screen time. We are going to upgrade her son's operating system. We need to flip him from reactive to creative, and we use the exact 3 steps we just talked about. Here's what happened. Step 1. She became a mirror. The next time her son was raging after losing a game, instead of saying, it's just a game, calm down, she took a breath and said, wow, I can really see how incredibly frustrated you are right now. It's really upsetting to lose when you were so close. And something small but amazing happened. You know what? Her son stopped mid-yell, looked at her, and said, yeah, ma'am. And the other guy was so cheap. For the first time, she wasn't arguing with him. She was just acknowledging his reality. It de-escalated the situation instantly. Step 2. They created the blank space. Together, they instituted the power down hour, 60 minutes after school with 0 screens. No TV, no tablet, no exceptions. The first few days were brutal. Right? The boy whined. He followed her around. He said the famous words, there's nothing to do. But the boy's mom held the line. Step 3. She asked the architect questions. On the 4th day, her son was deep in the I'm bored mantra. The mother knelt down and said, I hear you. So what is your plan? He stared at his mother. What do you mean, Mom? Well, his mother said, you are the boss of your boredom. So what is your plan to solve it? He just shrugged and wandered off. But about 20 minutes later, she peeked into his room. He wasn't on the screen. He had dug out a stack of printer paper, was doodling. He was drawing his Fortnite characters, but he was creating his own screens, own scenes, his own stories. This was the switch flipping. The mother didn't praise the drawing itself. She praised the initiative. She mirrored again, saying, wow, you came up with a plan all by yourself. You decided to draw. The next day, during power down hour, he went straight to the paper. Within a week, his doodles turned into a secret project. He started making a comic book. He was writing dialogue, creating villains, designing costumes. Here's the real victory. The Fortnite battles didn't disappear, but they lost their power because now, when he turned off the game, he wasn't just turning off entertainment, he was turning on to his own creative project. He was leaving the reactive world of the game to enter the creative world. He was building himself. The mom's role completely changed. She went from being the screen time police to being her son's creative director, his fan. She was no longer managing his reactions. She was supporting his creations. And that, right there, is the power of flipping the switch from reactive to creative. It is not about taking something away. It is about giving them something even more compelling back. The power to be the author of their own world. Your next step is to subscribe this channel if you haven't already. Why? Because next week we are going to dive into one of the biggest reactive triggers in your home, the dopamine-driven loop of digital content, and how to rewire your child's relationship with it from the ground up. You don't want to miss it. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. Thank you for the work you are putting in to be a more conscious parent. It matters more than you know. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Any questions, drop them below. I'll be there. Until next time, keep architecting. I'll see you in my next video.